Olympian, Old Queenian.
This was my year 1 classroom.
And bronze medalist.
Oh, they did, yeah.
My intention here is
Rebecca Wilde. Please stand. What an entrance. I think on behalf of everyone here, we felt part of that journey. There are some teachers here that obviously taught you along that way, and we felt certainly so empowered and thrilled to see you on that podium on that day.
Well, firstly, thank you for having me back and for that reception. Yeah, it's really a bit weird being back. It's changed a fair bit since I left in 2016, but it's very special.
So we've had a walk around school today, and we looked at some of the areas that previously as a student, because you actually come through the nursery all the way through, and we saw a couple of pictures of you in school teams. We've seen your shirts up in the sports gym and things like that. So the first question I'm going to ask you, and it's from Rosie in year 9, and she asks, how did it feel to actually stand on the podium knowing that you are a medal winner?
That was one of the most surreal things to ever happen. To be on the podium receiving an Olympic medal, seeing like friends and family in the stands, it was honestly, it was unreal.
We saw a lovely picture of mum, dad, brother and sister in Paris. How long did it take to actually see mum and dad and see that process?
Yeah, I think it actually took a couple of hours. We got out of our boat onto the pontoon, and then you're immediately shepherded to media. So we had an interview with the BBC straight up, get to the podium, have our medals and stuff, and then you're shepherded out for more media. And then, yeah, I think about 2 hours later, then we finally got to see our family and friends in the mix zone.
So what type of advice would you give students who might be nervous before production or a Saturday fixture?
Well, anything you're doing, whether it's sport, whether it's drama, whether it's music, you've done it so many times, like I'm sure you've practiced hundreds and hundreds of times. We went over our race in our heads so many times in training. Every single day we'd go through our race calls. So it's just almost second nature by the time you get to that final or that performance. So it's just like falling back on what you're used to, like you've done it, so why can't you do it again?
So the next question is from Holly in year 8, and she says, is it true that in the Olympic final you did not look across at any other boats?
I don't look around because my job is to set the rhythm and to kind of be the powerhouse in the boat. Whereas Matilda behind me, she's reading the race for us. She's doing the race calls. I
want to rewind a little bit. So your mum, Mrs. Wilde, sent me a magazine cutout in 2014. And even in 2014, Rebecca was swimming at school. You were performing to a very high level. And I quote, your ultimate goal was to go to the Olympics. You know, we're talking some time ago, you even had that goal in 2014. Did you ever imagine that it would be rowing that would take you to that dream and not swimming?
I'd always wanted to try rowing after swimming, whenever that was going to be. My PE teacher at the time, Miss Harrison, she always said, you're tall, you should try rowing after you're done with swimming. And I think she was kind of pushing it a bit earlier. And I was like, no, I want to achieve what I want to achieve first in swimming.
So let's think about your time at Queen's College. Can you think about the impact that schools actually had on shaping you as either a person or an athlete?
Queen's was a huge part of my life. It was always so supportive, whether it was academia or sport. And I have so many like great friends from growing up here, really, and so many great teachers.
Okay, let's go back to swimming just for a minute then, because while you're at school, you were competing at a really high level for swimming. So what was that level?
I swam for Wales when I was at school.
Now, obviously, you're still at school. So your commitments to school remained the same. How did you juggle those commitments?
Yeah, I guess I had quite a strict routine when I was younger. I train in the morning, come to school, and then in my free time, free periods or at lunchtime, I just catch up and work. Weekends and stuff, if I was at galas, maybe take some work with me.
Would you mind sharing some of the injuries you've had, even as much as surgeries?
Yeah, so I started rowing when I was 19, and then when I was 21, I had to have 2 hip surgeries. A lot of us get fractured ribs, so I've had quite a few of them. And then this year, or last year, September, I've been having forearm issues. So I had compartment syndrome in my forearms, which is where the muscles in the compartments are too big for the compartment. So I had that done in September, and 10 weeks later, had to compete at Olympic trials.
And my last question for you is, what's the next target?
I'll definitely be doing 4 more years, so I'll see you in LA and hopefully I'll upgrade the medal.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you.
Could I ask everyone to stand up and give Rebecca a huge round of applause, please?